Today we take a look around an abandoned township dating back to 1213 in the civil parish of Newland with Woodhouse Moor in the city of Wakefield. Situated on the north bank of the River Calder, we talk about the history of the area and the estate. This area lies between Normanton, Altoffs and Stanley and is now a place for walkers with its pretty countryside, woods and river. There is a farm that owns most of the land that the estate is now on. There are warning signs to keep off the land, so we have abided by this. The coach house, which we are looking around now, is just off the public footpath, so we have been able to access this building. This coach house, looking towards Newlands Hall, was situated to the right. See the original photo later in the video. The front has beautiful stone arches. This originally had a cupola on top, a type of dome. These were used a lot in the old days for light and ventilation. As you can see, this has very much been taken over by nature, and as most of the building has fallen down, there is lots of rubble, so please excuse the uneven footage as we stumble over all the bricks and rubble inside. Looking through the window to the right of the building looks to be a living room with a fireplace and some remaining stairs to the second floor. It even has the small stone bench still intact sitting outside the front. I'm unable to identify other rooms as it's so overgrown, but you can see that the chimney is still there and intact, or mostly intact. I will talk about the brickwork used to build this building later on in the video. So let's have a chat about the Newland Hall Mansion while we carry on looking round. Newland Hall Mansion was completely demolished in 1917, so we cannot show you this sadly. The hall was built as the main residence in 1740 with 54 bedrooms, dining rooms, drawing rooms, morning room, library, study, other offices, 9 main bedrooms with dressing rooms, a main kitchen, scullery, dairy, laundry, 6 servant rooms, servant halls, housekeeper's room and butler's pantry. The mansion hall stood in approximately 60 acres of land. Today there are trees and a path through the woods along the side of the river down to the Stanley Ferry. There is no access to the old site where the mansion hall was. Newlands Estate was established by King John I as a community of the Knights Templar, a French military order of the Catholic faith, which fell to the Knights Hospitaller, an order of the Knights of the Hospital of St. John of Jerusalem, a medieval and modern Catholic military order, who maintained preceptory there. There were 2 preceptors in West Yorkshire. The other was Knights Templar at Temple Newsome in Leeds. You can visit Temple Newsome House and Gallery plus cafe on site. There is a charge to go in the house. The preceptory was the beneficiary of a powerful patron, Roger le Petvin, Lord of the Manor of Altoffs, and later in 1447, William Livett of Altoffs Hall. During the suppression of the monasteries, a set of administrative and legal processes whereby Henry VIII disbanded Catholic monasteries, priories, convents and friaries. Newland Preceptory was dissolved and bestowed by Henry VIII around 1544, and then sold to a member of the Bunny family of Newton between 1544 and 1546. It was later sold to the Sylvester family. John Sylvester Smith's father, John Smith, built the Newland Hall mansion. The estate was later owned by William Locke and John Warrington around 1860. They were responsible for the hall being demolished. They opened St John's Colliery by 1870, within Newlands. Locke lived in Sutton Hall in North Yorkshire, and after purchasing Newlands Hall in 1860, he put an advert out to lease it. It was advertised again in 1879. Now we take a look at the stables from the outside. This is also where the church and 1935 house are situated. These are no longer accessible as the land around the stables is currently owned and used by the current farmers with a private land notice. As said at the beginning, we respected the notice and only took video footage and photos of what we could see. The stables were at some point turned into a house, but there is no further information on this. This was based on the materials of the interior walls. Most of the reusable building parts were stolen, so it's just an empty shell now. The farm buildings and stable block are Grade 2 listed. To see the 1935 house, see photos later on in the video. Going back to the bricks used to build the coach house, which are marked St John's Colliery bricks. These are from the colliery that Locke and Warrington opened in 1870. There is a rail bridge still standing over the River Calder. Assumably the track led to Newlands Basin on the Aire and Calder navigation, where compartment boats were used for river transport. These were also introduced in 1860s. They carried 25 tonnes each with 6 canal trains at a time. Later this increased to 35 tonnes with up to 20 boat trains. The production was sent to the port of Gaul for exportation. The trains also ran down onto the main tracks called the Hallam Line, with a signal box called Lock Sidings. This line is now the only one used from Normanton to Wakefield, which is the Hallam Leeds to Sheffield route. The old Midland line to Derby closed, and there is nothing left of the track to the colliery now. For more info on the rail lines, you might also like our video on Pippin Tunnel Lost Railway. The National Coal Board took over the colliery in 1947 and worked until its closure in 1973. On September 26, 1959, there was an explosion which killed 3 people. They were drilling, which caused a spark at the flange gap of a plug and socket. Also coupling of a drilling machine which was being used at the time to bore a shot hole in a place in which was inflammable gas. The correct safety steps had not been taken. There were 4 brickworks overall in the Newlands area over the years, as it was a very good place for clay. That's the end of our exploration for today. We hope you enjoyed the video. And as always, thank you for watching and subscribing.